Uh-oh. Watch out guys, because after a sudden cosmic shift of happenstance and all-round bad luck, we've accidentally fallen through a wormhole of a thinner, and now out of all places, we're in the court of the Crimson King, which, whilst also being an incredibly awesome album created by King Crimson back in 1969, hypothetically speaking, it's also a very, very dangerous place to ever find yourself. You see, unlike the cosmic horror known only as the Deadlights, Stephen King, through his seminal multiverse of fiction, also created a much more terrifying entity, one that is also far more familiar than may first seem. So let's do what we always do and find out what would happen if that thing was real. Hello internet, what's going on? And once again, welcome back to the most inquisitive channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions. As per usual, I'll be this body floating voice Jack Finches. Today, we curiously asked the question, what if the Crimson King was real? Roll the clip. For the curious amongst you, of course that scene was from 2017's The Dark Tower, starring Matthew McConaughey as the Man in Black and Idris Elba as Roland Deschain, the gunslinger that followed. And hey, that film didn't get a lot of things right, but still Idris and Matthew nailed it, and most importantly, there are other worlds than these, so don't worry. You see, the thing is, behind that red cosmic thinner, that creature could have been either Mordred, Dandolo, or hell, even the Crimson King himself. And given the confines of the 2018 movies, we will never know, but don't worry about that because we won't be using the cinematic version as a point of reference, but instead we'll be sticking true to the Dark Tower series as well as Stephen King's expanded macroverse. So, in that case, let's get to it. You see, the first thing is though, we can't speculate on the hypothetical implications of the Crimson King being real unless we first illustrate the reality-defining mechanics that allow him to be, well, the Crimson King that he is. And to do that, we have to talk about the Dark Tower, and most importantly, we have to talk about the multiverse, and the Prim, and Gan, and the beams. Yeah, there's quite a lot to it, actually. Hey, I've done it once before, I can do it again. A crash course in Stephen King. No big deal. Deep breath. Ever since Stephen King published his first novel, Carrie, way back when in 1974, he has published over 61 novels, an incredible 200 short stories, outlined graphic novels, inspired feature-length films, and has pretty much been one of the most successful horror and fantasy novelists of all time. It's safe to say that in his day, he's created his fair share of other worlds than these. Whether it's The Shining, Salem's Lot, The Talisman in cahoots with Peter Straub, or even Under the Dome, King has cultivated one of the most impressive interconnected universes ever created, and all of it is underpinned by the physical and metaphysical linchpin of a structure known as the Dark Tower. And as is the case with the Crimson King, it is of vital importance that we first zone in on the origin of that particular structure. In King's macroverse, the creator of all things, the progenitor of existence itself, is an entity known as Gan, but even he came from somewhere, and that place is known as the Prim, a primordial chaos of unfathomable power and incomprehensible origin. As the legend goes, Gan arose from the waters of the Prim, where he then spun the physical universe from his navel and in turn split 6 beams of creation from them. It is said that his remaining body formed the Dark Tower, the center of all creation, where the ley lines of the macroverse converge, and whoever controls it, in turn, controls the universe, essentially. And guess what? Our good fellow, the Crimson King, well, he wants to tear the whole thing down. The Crimson King is the eater of worlds, the orchestrator of chaos and decay, and his ultimate goal is to tear down the tower, bringing about discordia, which we'll get to in a moment, and remake the universe in his own image. And as the Dark Tower is literally the linchpin in the fabric of all time and space, as you may imagine, that would be a pretty destructive thing indeed. As a side note, there is a character in complete opposition to the Crimson King throughout the series, and that man's name is Roland Deschain of Gilead, the gunslinger who takes up the mantle of the hero of the story and in turn the hero of the universe. In opposition to the Crimson King, instead of destroying the Dark Tower, Roland desires to find it and discover exactly what exists at the top of the tower, a god or a demon. And if you want to know what the answer to that question is, then please just read the Dark Tower series, because I'm not in the business for spoiling that. But again, back on track, this opposition is incredibly important when illustrating the Crimson King, because as his namesake would suggest, he is the embodiment of chaos in the series, a metaphysical force also known as the Red, the random cosmic force in the multiverse, which is in direct opposition to the White, the cosmic force of the purpose. And yes, whilst that dichotomy is pretty heavy-handed throughout the series, it makes things pretty straightforward for us in this approach. The Crimson King, the Red, the Random, is the embodiment of chaos and evil. Let's not beat about the bush, he's the definitive bad guy, and if that sounds familiar, that's because, well, the Crimson King is also the devil. You see, in King's multiverse, the many worlds that converge and form his fictional existence also include our own. And as the awesome character of Susanna explains in the series, people in her world, our world, see the Crimson King as a horned, red-skinned monster named Satan. And while it may come across as spoilers, it's pretty cut and shut really, guys. The hint is kind of in the name. The Crimson King is Satan. He's the Antichrist. He's Big Red, Lord of Discordia and Chaos. Ramabala, Red Daddy, the Kingfish. He works from behind the scenes in his realm of the red and disorder, pulling the strings from behind the curtain, sowing the seeds of discord whilst others do his evil bidding. Vampires, low men, Tahine, Dandello, It, the Deadlights, Randall Flagg himself. It goes without saying, but the devil doesn't get his own hands dirty because you know how it goes. Idle hands are the Crimson King's playthings. And whilst in this hypothetical scenario, your own spiritual and religious beliefs will certainly be a defining factor in how we'd approach the Crimson King's existence, whilst it's undeniable that in the parameters of this video, the Crimson King, aka Satan, would be hypothetically real, part of the difficulty in defining the extent of that scenario is down to the fact that, well, it's down to the individual to decide whether the devil is real or not. If he was real, well, part of the saving grace of this notion would be that if the red exists as the bends of the rainbow define, so too would the white, and then so too would Roland Deschain and his quartet, and he'd save the universe from ever being recombobulated by the Crimson King. Yay, we survive. It's all good. On the other hand, if you didn't believe that the Crimson King was real, then maybe you've got nothing to worry about. Maybe the forces of the random will be kept in check by the forces of purpose without you ever knowing, and you can carry on ignorant in all your bliss, unaware of a terrifying cosmic entity that wants nothing more than to bring about discordia and ruin existence for everyone and, I don't know, tear your face off. But on the other hand, maybe not. Maybe they failed and then one day, poof, gone, and you wouldn't even know it. Just disappeared. After all, as the old saying goes, the greatest trick that the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist. Well, there we have it, folks, our long and short answer to the question, what if the Crimson King was real? What do you guys think? Do you agree, disagree? Then let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below, as well as how you'd ensure that the Crimson King never brought about discordia. I'd love to know. Really, I would. Before we depart from today's video, though, let's first take a quick look at some of your more creative comments from over the past few days. In response to our recent What If the Earth Wasn't Tilted video, Joe Senpai says, well, when I'm not tilted, I usually win my rank matches, so I guess maybe something like that. Hey, that is a lesson that we should all abide by, Joe Senpai. You know what I always say? If you're tilted, play ARAM. Next up, the Negativatron says, it wouldn't be tilted then. Simple. Yeah, I bet you're really fun at parties, pal. Really fun. And finally, Smokey Bear says, Wyoming doesn't exist. That's all that's necessary to know in life. Well, I'm pretty sure that the good people of Wyoming would have a thing or two to say about that. Right, Wyoming? Wyoming? Well, unfortunately on that note, that's all we've got time for in today's video. Bye, Wyoming. Cheers for sticking around all the way until the end. If you were a fan of this video or just life's biggest questions in general, then please be a dear and hit that thumbs up button, as well as that subscribe bell, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. As per usual, I've been with this modified voice, Shaq Finch. You've been watching Life's Biggest Questions, and until next time, you take it easy.